Okay, we're rolling.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Tamara Sprague et je suis ici aujourd'hui de vous présenter comment on peut faire la présentation technique. D'abord, je vais vous parler de vos clients. Vos clients sont les plus importants. Vous devez savoir comment ils pensent et quel sujet est le plus important. Je souhaite que vous serez mieux après la présentation qu'avant. Si vous avez des questions, vous pouvez les poser quand vous voulez entre la présentation. Levez votre main si vous m'avez compris. So, I'm not a mind reader, but some of these things might be what you might have been thinking as I spoke. Okay, so I'm here to talk to you about giving a technical presentation. So the first step in doing so is to know your audience. What language do they speak? So a lot of times when we're giving a technical presentation, we give that in the language we understand, that technical language. And understanding that not everyone in the audience also speaks that, we need to translate for them. The other thing that we need to do when understanding which language they speak is to understand technical language, the different variations of that. So one group may want all of the information outlined in detail, and that can be presented to them in a handout that you give at the end. If you give that at the beginning, that's all they'll read, and they won't pay attention to you during the presentation. So make sure you give that to them at the end. Others might want it broken down into very simple form and have that really defined for them. Even those that enjoy the technical with all of the numbers and everything included, they want you to get right to the point. They want you to pinpoint what part of that study or what part of that data that you want them to look at. And so by doing that you show that you understand where they're coming from and that you're not there to waste their time. The other thing that you need to think about is their level of trust. Have you met these people before? Are they people that you work with? Are they people that you've already established that bond of trust with? Or are they completely new that you've never met before, or not well known by the group that is presenting? So if that's the case, then you need to start out your presentation establishing that trust. Why should they listen to you? What are your credentials? Why do you have information that they need or that you can present to them? So this is a from, to, think, do chart. And don't worry about it too much right now. I'm just going to highlight a few things on it. You will be getting this in a handout that I give at the end, so you'll have that template to be able to use. This is a very handy way to start a presentation. So you start thinking about where is your audience right now and what is their point of view, and then where do you want them to move to after your presentation? What information do you want them to have to be educated, or what do you want them to persuade them to do differently? And then the do section, what are they doing or not doing right now, and then moving to what you want them to do after your story. What are the action items that you would like to elicit as a result of the presentation? So simplify. When we have a screen full of lots of things, it becomes very busy. It's very difficult and distracting to have to focus on what the presenter is speaking and what you're visually seeing. So make sure that you're either highlighting key words or using 38 point or larger font or using what we call the 3-second test. So a 3-second test is a glance test, and if you can absorb all of the information in 3 seconds or less, then it's an effective slide. If it's detracting from what you're saying, then you've lost that as an effective means of communication. So telling a story, a great way to present is to put it into a story. Even in a technical presentation, there are great ways that you can creatively tell a story. Putting someone they know into a scenario, doing a short little video and having that for them to see. It's all going to be something interesting, different from the all everyday mundane that they are used to. So another thing is to illustrate. You want to illustrate, just like this math teacher is very proud of his facts and figures and happy to share them in this on this screen. We need to illustrate the things that we have to be able to present. And then we also need to emphasize what's really important. Get to the crux of your topic and talk about what is really important. And the last thing is to make it memorable. If at the end of your presentation no one remembers what you've talked about, then you have not done them a service. You have not presented in a way that that they could understand, or in a way that was meaningful to them. Okay, so when I said levez votre main si vous m'avez compris, without interpretation, you would not know that that was, and I knew this because not many of you raised your hand. Raise your hand if you understand me. So just like that, technical presentations do need to be interpreted for the audience. A slidement. This is something really important. As you see, this guy is running from it. So we should run from slidement. It's a document that's turned into a slide. Some of the ways that you can identify this is small text, excessive text, so it doesn't pass that 3-second test. It's boring, it doesn't have any visuals or color, and it's just another boring presentation to be endured. So we need to discover the power of color. Color is a powerful thing that you have in your toolbox to be able to present. So color elicits all kinds of responses, and you want to pick colors that are going to elicit a positive response. When people, especially in business, are bombarded day in and day out by computer screens filled with black and white text, a bit of color can be a refreshing change. It will also help to emphasize what you are doing. And the last thing is to stick the landing. So just like this guy here is pretty happy at the end of his presentation, so do you need to be. When you stick the landing, you bring everything that you've done into focus. You make clear the message that you were trying to portray, the persuasion that you were trying to get across to your audience, whatever it is, you bring it full circle and really emphasize that. So they're able to come away and it was memorable and it was meaningful and they didn't feel like it was a waste of their time. So what would this look like? So I'm just going to take a minute. I was given permission in order to highlight what I've been talking about, to show you a few things from a slide that you had recently. So this is the EMS lock system integration. And here's the first slide, and it does not pass the 3-second test, or does? No. Okay, so it has a lot of information, black and white. It's got our handy dandy bullet points in there, and so what I've done is turn that over a little bit, and I'm going to illustrate how you might change this screen and make it more interesting. So I chose this graphic with the 20 doors, because on the previous slide you talked about 20 rooms, 20 plus rooms that you needed to have security built in for. So, and a couple of your concerns were privacy and then that security. So, and there are 20 in case you're wondering, because I know there's some out there that will count. So, your chosen solution was the HID card-based room reservation system. Okay. The next screen is a continuation of that last screen and includes the room reservation information, EMS, and then Vanderbilt Industries, who were going to provide room access based on reservations and custom integration of both the systems. So next we go on to the next screen. Again, 3-second test, not so much. Bullet points, we got them there, great, and we got black and white. So how might we illustrate that? So talking about the room's default modes and how you might illustrate those. So integrating the logo helps to provide ownership, to bring that audience in, and it talks about staff and faculty being rooms being accessible 24/7. The next one, we continue that with students, with the lab rooms open at the same as lab hours, 7 to midnight. And then the last one, the students having rooms that are open by reservation only. So those are some of the ways that you can make a technical presentation really stand out and set apart from the everyday presentation that you might confront. And so I just want to thank you for the time that you've spent, and I have some books and things in order to show you some references that you might use if you want to know some more information, and I'll be around afterwards to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.